Yep. Okay. Good evening, everyone. The last event of our alumni weekend. It's so good to see everybody. I hope people who are here tonight, if you joined other events today, I hope that you're holding them in your heart and they carry you through to next year. My name is Margaret Ryan, and I'm the president of the Bank Street College Alumni Association, and it's more fondly known as BSCAA. I graduated in 2001 from the Early Childhood and Elementary Education program. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I would like to welcome you to our annual I would like to welcome you to the BSCAA Awards, and thank you for your continued support. I would like to take this time to briefly share a little more about BSCAA. BSCAA promotes opportunities for alumni and students to stay connected through gatherings, networking events, career and professional development opportunities, and so much more. Look out for invitations through the Alumni Relations Office. We encourage you to attend our events and networking programs, as well as volunteer or collaborate with BSCAA or colleagues across Bank Street. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome to the podium Shel Polako-Saransky, GSE graduate of 2000 and president of Bank Street College of Education.
Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all here. Thank you for coming. It's such a special honor to welcome our 2024 Bank Street Alumni Award recipients. I'm really pleased to be with you here to recognize your contributions to Bank Street College and to the field of education. I want to take a few minutes today to talk about this moment we find ourselves in, this messy, challenging, and yes, celebratory moment. This is not an easy time to be a teacher, a school leader, a teacher educator, or even a mentor to people in these professions. Tensions around the world and here at home are pulling at the threads of our democracy, eroding our civil rights, and challenging our ability to talk honestly across our differences. And yet, here we are at the annual BSCAA Awards, and I want to offer my sincere congratulations to you and to your colleagues, your friends, and your families. As a Bank Street alum myself, and now its president, I have tremendous faith in our institution's ability to prepare educators to serve children and families. As fellow alums and allies in our work, you represent the best of what Bank Street aspires to accomplish in the world. And I believe that right now, as our country grapples with questions around justice and democracy and education, Bank Street College and each of you has an important role to play. At Bank Street, our work is based on the faith that human beings can improve the society we have created, not through sterile transfers of knowledge, but through active learning and dialogue. Paulo Freire, the Brazilian educator, described this well in his book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. He wrote, "Knowledge emerges only through invention and reinvention, through the restless, impatient, continuing, hopeful inquiry human beings pursue in the world, with the world, and with each other." In recent months, many of us have been grappling with how to engage with each other and our students about the war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the rising tides of anti-Semitism impacting many members of our community, and the repression of student protests across our country. It's healthy to have these debates and to disagree deeply at times, as long as we also take care with one another, valuing each other's humanity and the right we all share to feel a sense of belonging in our community. We are connected by shared values and the incredible power we have as educators. That's why I'm filled with hope. My hope stems not from the people in positions of formal power and what they will or will not do, but from each of you, the committed individuals who ensure our children have access to a loving, thoughtful, and supportive environment to reinvent the world around us. In Eddie Glaude's new book, entitled "We Are the Leaders We've Been Looking For," he writes, "Mine is an abiding faith in the capacity of everyday, ordinary people to be otherwise, and in our ability, no matter the evils that threaten to overwhelm, to fight for a more just world. That faith isn't naive or fantastical evasion of the ugliness of human beings. It reflects my willingness to run ahead of the evidence, to see beyond the conditions of my current experience, and to ready myself to act on behalf of something not yet in existence." It takes tremendous courage to act on behalf of something not yet in existence. It takes hope. It takes imagination. History can inform both our hope and our imagination. Last month, I was listening to an interview with Melba Beals, one of the Little Rock Nine, who set out to integrate Central High School in Arkansas. She's now 82 years old, and she was talking about the song "Blackbird" by the Beatles. The song was inspired by the bravery of the Little Rock Nine, and Beyoncé covered it on her recent album. Beals said, "People ignored the song's meaning for a long time, but when the queen bee speaks, people will listen. And when people listen, they may open their minds to compassion about differences." I shared this story with my 7-year-old daughter, Selah, who has been listening to Beyoncé in the car with me quite a lot lately. And she had lots of questions that I couldn't answer. Like, why did those 9 students get picked to go to the white high school? Were they scared? What happened to them? When I taught middle school, I used the Eyes on the Prize documentary in my class, and I remembered a segment about the Little Rock Nine. Selah and I watched it together a few days later, and I want to share what we learned. In May 1954, exactly 70 years ago this week, the Supreme Court ruled that public schools must racially integrate. However, even by 1957, many states were still dragging their feet. These were tense times, and President Eisenhower urged caution. The Supreme Court had ruled for integration with all deliberate speed, and Eisenhower was more about the deliberateness than the speed. As a first step, the school board in Little Rock said that 9 of the highest performing Black students could enroll at Central High School. Yet the governor at the time had a re-election campaign on the horizon. He thought he stood a better chance politically if he opposed school integration. So he sent the National Guard to stop the students from going into their school. A standoff resulted. At the urging of President Eisenhower, the governor eventually removed the National Guard. The students were able to go into the school, but they were relentlessly harassed. At one point, a mob of white protesters tried to get into the school, and the police were concerned the mob would kill the students and barely got them to safety, while the country looked on in horror. In response, President Eisenhower was forced to act and sent the army to escort the students daily into the school. That continued for the rest of the school year. That summer, the governor said, if the federal government is going to force the integration of public schools in Little Rock, he would rather close all the schools than integrate them. And so he did for a whole year. Ultimately, in 1959, after many more court rulings and a year of lost schooling, all the schools were reopened and began to integrate. That history inspires me, and I hope you. It's not a simple story of success, But progress is rarely straightforward. Even when the President of the United States urged patience, these teenagers persisted, and in the process, changed the world. Gloria Ray, one of the Little Rock Nine, said in a 1957 interview, "I'm thankful for a chance to fulfill my educational desires and for being a citizen in a country where the federal government protects and respects the rights of all its people." Another student, Elizabeth Eckford, shared, "Somewhere along the line, staying at Central High School became an obligation. I realized that what we were doing was not for ourselves." She and the other Little Rock Nine were imagining a possible future not yet in existence. As we know, the struggle didn't end in 1959. Earlier this month, Florida's governor signed into law new restrictions preventing teacher prep programs like Bank Street from teaching stories like this one about the history of racism in our country. Arkansas's current governor, who graduated from Central High School, decided at the beginning of this school year to ban AP African American history courses from counting towards the graduation requirements in Arkansas. We need to recognize that these efforts to control narratives aren't just about the books on a shelf or the content in our classrooms. They're about something much more profound. They're about limiting our understanding of the world, our society, and our history. Perhaps more concerning, they're about limiting the understanding of each other. We must keep teaching these stories of liberation. We must keep building learning environments that nurture critical inquiry, dialogue, and the space to understand each other. Through this work, each of us has the opportunity to invent a different future. And as we advance together at this critical moment in our history, I want to leave you with these words from the song Blackbird. "Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise." Thank you, and congratulations to the 2024 BSCAA Award recipients.
Thank you, Shale, for your remarks. Now I would like to welcome Amy Stewart-Wells, the Dean of the Graduate School of Education.
Thank you, Margaret. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do a very Gen Z thing and read this from my phone, my speech. I'm saving the paper. I didn't print it out. My son tells me that's so appropriate, Mom. That's how you have to do it now. I'm like, okay. So I've only been the Dean of the Graduate School for a little more than 8 months. So this is my very first alumni weekend, and it has been so wonderful. So I'm very excited to be here, and I just want to do a little recap, starting with Thursday, because I hope many of you were able to join us on Thursday for the kickoff of the alumni weekend with the Epic Theater Ensemble. It's a Bank Street informed play called Why Teach, and the Niemeyer lecture by Dr. Crystal Sanders of Emory University, More Than Cookies and Crayons, Head Start and the Mississippi Freedom Struggle, which really relates to Shale's remembering the Little Rock Nine. Through that lecture, we learned about the many important connections between Bank Street and the Child Development Group of Mississippi, or CDGM, both in terms of the training that the Mississippi Head Start educators receive from Bank Street and the advocacy role that John Niemeyer, Bank Street's second president, played in trying to maintain the federal funding for the program as the chair of the Head Start Planning Committee. And earlier today at the Alumni of Color Gathering, I had the honor of introducing and listening to one of our Alumni Award recipients tonight, Maryah Greene, talk about her work as a plant doctor on Good Morning America, her work to cultivate green spaces and cities, her new book, and her really helpful plant care advice. But what I appreciated most about Maryah's talk today was the connection she drew between her Bank Street education and our reading and literacy program and her work as a classroom teacher and the critical work she is doing now. Just one more example of the power of Bank Street education to convey what Barbara Biber, one of Bank Street's many leaders in early childhood education, described as the coherent system of values, theoretical premises, and designs for implementation that underlie all the programs at Bank Street. Biber wrote that there are, in fact, agreed upon components of what constitutes optimal learning situations for children and adults at the heart of our Bank Street programs. And Maryah and all of you strive to incorporate those in your professional lives every day. I also really enjoyed connecting with the alums from the Principals Institute, now Progressive Leaders Program, some of whom never saw themselves as school leaders until they came to Bank Street. And their transformation within their program is a tribute to the extraordinary commitment of our faculty and the care that they have for our students. It is through their expertise and care that we foster the very best leaders in the field of education. And so, alums, I am so proud to be the dean of your alma mater and so excited and happy to hear about all the incredible work you are doing. And thus, I want to share with you a few things that we're doing now within the graduate school so that you can also continue to be proud of us. First of all, I wanted you to know that this spring we completed our Middle States Higher Education Accreditation Review and passed with flying colors. Yay! The very best review that any of us had ever heard from accreditation process. So that was really, really good news. In addition, we've been focusing on 3 areas of work within the graduate school: the student experience and journey through Bank Street, and we've already begun some important improvements in the area of our student services. We have a ways to go, but we're definitely heading in the right direction. We're redesigning some of our academic programs to both meet the new demands and requirements from the state of New York, as well as the demands and needs of the field and our students. So we're revamping our reading and literacy program to be an all grades program as required by New York State. And it's the design of it's really very exciting. So I can't wait to share it with all of you. We're also doing the same with special ed to meet the demands for an all grades credential. And we're doing curriculum mapping on several of our programs to look at the redundancies and to try to reduce those to lessen the total number of credits required for our longer programs to increase access by reducing the cost for students. We're also growing our teacher residency programs to work with more schools and districts in New York City and hopefully beyond. Our external facing work is building new partnerships with undergraduate liberal arts colleges, particularly those that have majors and minors in education or child life, to build +1 programs that would enable their students to begin their Bank Street education early and receive their master's degree following their baccalaureate in just 1 year. We are also applying for several large grants to support our work with schools and Head Start centers serving our newest New Yorkers or our migrant students in the city and beyond that would highlight our expertise in bilingual, dual language, and translanguaging education and our work on emotionally responsive practice to support the linguistic and social emotional needs of our newest New Yorkers. And last but not least, we're applying for funds for community development centers and community development centered and informed teacher residency programs to amplify the voices of parents and communities who are too rarely included in the work of teacher education and to have too little say in how educators are prepared to work with their children. Through all of this work, we are striving to bolster the field of education and reclaim the narrative around teachers and educational leaders as professionals, carefully and thoughtfully trained in exemplary graduate programs of education like Bank Street. So thank you all for all of the work you do every day and in every way to help us further that message and that mission. I want to congratulate all of our award recipients tonight. And I also want to give a shout out to Eric and the Darrow team for just hosting this amazing weekend, and thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Becky Scuderi, and I'm the Secretary of the BSCAA Advisory Board. I'm here to present the BSCAA Distinguished Service Award to Hal Melnick. This award, yeah. This award is presented annually to one or more Bank Street graduates, honoring years of service to the college and its alumni and demonstrating dedication and commitment to furthering beliefs and practices of Bank Street College. Hal Melnick epitomizes Bank Street's mission and credo. He has served as an advisor for many years, leaving an indelible mark on numerous students. According to his advisees, Hal does not see limitations in anyone, especially his students. He only sees opportunities and possibilities. In addition to co-founding the Leadership in Mathematics education program with Barbara Jabitsky and Marvin Cohen, Hal developed a required course for all students in the Teaching and Learning Department titled Mathematics for Teachers in Diverse and Inclusive Educational Settings, grades N through 6. Most of the students in this course do not have math backgrounds, and many enter the graduate school teaching programs with trepidation when it comes to studying math, and many fear teaching math to their own students. In fact, Hal and I just had a conversation about my trepidation, so it's quite ironic that I'm up here introducing him. But through this course, Hal created a transformational learning environment where all of his graduate students felt they could learn math and succeed in teaching it well. In his interactions with students, Hal listened attentively to their thinking about what they were learning and experiencing. He empowered his students to experience what it looks like, sounds like, and feels like to be a member of a community where ideas and learning are valued and honored. His students left this class not only energized to teach math, they now understood what it took to create a thoughtful and energized learning environment for their own students. Hal's teachings have had a major influence on countless students where he nurtured and supported their intellectual growth. Although Hal is retired, he continues to be a trusted advisor and thoughtful and principled learner and colleague. Please join me in congratulating Hal Melnick, an influencer transcending intellect and touching many of our hearts, on receiving the BSCAA Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations, Hal, and well deserved.
Thank you, Margaret and Becky, and thank you, everyone. Eric asked us to address 3 questions. Who do we want to thank? What does this award mean to us? And how has Bank Street impacted me and my work? So starting with number 1, first of all, I'd like to thank every student I ever had here at Bank Street. That's the reason I kept on coming back here for 43 years as a teacher. Thank you. In addition, specifically, I retired 7 years ago, so it came as a shock and a heartwarming experience for me to hear that 3 people who are currently on the staff nominated me for this. I thank Robin Hummel, the Director of Leadership in Math Education and the Co-Director of Online Education, and Greg David. I don't know if Greg's here tonight. Oh, make this closer. I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Greg David, who's a man with boundless energy, who's been in the children's school as a math science teacher for about 10 or 12 years. But beyond that, on his sideline is the founding board member of Wynn Charter School in Washington Heights. And they're opening up a new campus now for middle school, something like 500 students. It's just he's a remarkable guy. And I also would like to say thank you specifically to Marcella Hahn, who's here, head of the development here at Bank Street. Thank you so much. So what does this award mean to me? It means that maybe I have lived up to a few of the principles of progressive education that our founder, Lucy Sprague Mitchell, wrote. She describes it in her credo, which was printed finally in 1950, but it emerges from 1916. She asks a couple of things. She asks us to promote in learners a zest for living that comes from taking the world in from all five senses. She also asks that we promote in learners a lively intellectual curiosity to keep one forever a learner. And the last one, particularly relevant today, gentleness combined with justice in passing judgments on other human beings. To me, that sounds a whole lot like diversity, equity, and inclusion. 1916. If I've lived up to any of those principles when teaching math for teachers or advising students in the leadership and math education program or in teacher education, then I feel mighty proud. And the last thing I want to talk about, and this I could go on for, how did Bank Street impact me and my work? Remember, I came back here and worked here for 43 years. It really did impact me. But when I studied here 53 years ago now in the teacher education program, that was 1971 to 1972, I learned to love learning. I learned what it takes to be really a learner. During the day, I worked 4 days a week in the children's school with an incredible mentor teacher named Joan Senadella, who recently passed on. Every night in class, I'd go to graduate school classes, and there I was asked to reflect on what I was doing with children all day long. So I had the experience of doing during the day and thinking about the doing and the discussing in the evening. The old adage, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand, became crystal clear to me. But more importantly, I also learned in my graduate school classes from Dewey that experience really is nothing unless you have a dedicated opportunity to socially reflect on the doings. Bank Street's ethos provides that, and that's what makes this place so special. The theory-practice connection. Theory informs practice, but practice informs theory. We became theory makers in our conference group, discussing what we were learning and thinking about and making meaning from. During that fieldwork year, 1971 to 1972, and I wonder, I know it's happening today, my intellectual needs were sharpened. My emotional needs were attended to by an incredibly sensitive and involved advisor. And my social needs were broadened in my conference group every week on Wednesday as I learned the power of collaborative learning. With any teacher in any school or any district in which I've worked, I try to remember those three intersecting components. I thank you, Bank Street, and all of my students and my instructors way back in 1971 and 72. When I walked through those doors, every time I walk through those doors, I'm brought right back to my experience of coming here and being so enlivened and so appreciated as a teacher from the outside coming here. Teachers here thought I had something to contribute. I felt that from day one. I didn't think I did, but I felt that. I thank Bank Street for opening my eyes to what plainly every teacher needs to know to really teach. I tried to do that for my entire career, and I thank you for this honor.
It is my honor to present the Ida Karp Award. The Ida Karp Award honors consistent and outstanding dedication to Bank Street. Unlike other awards, the Ida Karp Award is awarded to a graduate or non-graduate. This year's awardee is a Head Start legacy. Head Start, a pioneering early childhood education program in the United States, stands out for its comprehensive approach to enhancing children's cognitive, social, and emotional development from low-income families. Launched in 1965 as part of President Lyndon B. Johnson's War on Poverty, Head Start goes beyond traditional education, offering health, nutrition, and parent involvement services. Bank Street College of Education, known for its progressive approach to teaching, focusing on child-centered learning and experiential education, has played a pivotal role in shaping the curriculum and pedagogical methods used in Head Start programs. This collaboration helps refine educational practices and ensure they meet the diverse needs of children and families. The partnership between Head Start and Bank Street College of Education, which highlights the importance of combining practical teaching experience with research-based educational practices to enhance the quality and impact of early childhood education programs, is a significant part of Eleanor Quallo's story. This rich historical context is a long-standing tradition between Bank Street and Head Start that led us to the Ida B. Karp awardee, Eleanor Quallo. Eleanor Quallo, a seasoned leader within the New York City Department of Education's Division of Early Childhood Care and Education and former Head Start parent, has devoted over 3 decades to parent governance and the New York City-wide Head Start Policy Council. That's a lot. That was a lot, right? It's amazing. Eleanor's extensive experience in family engagement, community partnerships, parent leadership and development, and Head Start initiatives has positioned her as a prominent figure in various parent, family, and community leadership endeavors. Her dedication to empowering parents and caregivers, guiding them to embrace their roles as leaders, and serving as a true inspiration to all who have worked with her. Please join me in welcoming Eleanor Quallo.
Good evening, Bank Street College Alumni Association members, faculty, family, friends, and my Head Start family. I'm honored to accept the 2024 BSCAA Ida Karp Award that is presented to a friend of the college. This week, I took a moment to reflect on the Head Start program that is celebrating 59 years of providing comprehensive service to children and families. How awesome it is that Bank Street Head Start initiative began in 1964, shortly after the Civil Rights Act was passed. And after Bank Street President John Maryah had been asked to work with Southern University to create the desegregation program. My love for Head Start started over 45 years ago in 1977 when I happened to have the opportunity to enroll my twin daughters, Cheryl and Stephanie, into Bedford-Stuyvesant Head Start program. I was elected to the DAPC and later to the New York City-wide Head Start Policy Council. As a member of the Policy Council, we had the opportunity to make policies with governing board for New York City delegates, which include Bank Street Head Start. So Bank Street Head Start, I've been with you for a long, long time. Later in 1990, I was hired by ACD, which became ACS as the Policy Council liaison. As Policy Council liaison, I had the opportunity to write training and consultation to our Policy Council members and the delegate agencies. I serve in diverse roles of administration for children's services, where I hone my expertise and remain updated in Head Start, mandate standards, and monitoring. In 2019, I had the opportunity to continue my duties under the leadership of Amber Cartwright as the New York City Department of Education became the recipient of the Head Start grant. So Head Start went from ACS to the Department of Education. Working with the Policy Council parents gave me the opportunity to engage with parents. My dedication to fostering parent leadership, advanced Head Start governance, and enhancing community engagement transcends my professional responsibility. As I actively reach out to programs to educate them on the significance of granting parents and caregivers decision-making rights. I share this award with numerous New York City Head Start commissioners and staff for their guidance and encouragement, and most of all, to all our Policy Council parents who gave me the opportunity to engage as they strive to reach their goals. One of our Policy Council members was Keisha Holmes Morris, who is the former Assistant Director at Bank Street Program from 2010 to 2015. We also have Policy Council member Carmen McKay, who graduated with their CDA. And at that time, ACS had already partnered with Bank Street to provide CDA programs to Head Start parents. Cornelia Edwards, another CDA graduate from the New York Public School Head Start. Quentin Mason, who is now the La Peninsula Board Chair for the Head Start program. We also have staff who benefit from the Family Development Credential and Training that I co-facilitated and continue to education. One of those parents are Fahim Pollard, who is now the Assistant Director with Hudson Gale. And I know I have more Head Start parents and friends and supporters of Head Start. So I really want to thank you for supporting me along this journey. I also want to thank my family, my husband, children, for your love and dedication and support over these umpteen years with Head Start. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Misha Paskar, and I serve as a representative at large on the BSCAA Advisory Board. I have the privilege of presenting one of the BSCAA Recent Graduate Awards to Maryah Greene. This award is so special that it only is presented when deemed appropriate and not necessarily every year. It goes to a recent Bank Street graduate within the last 5 years for outstanding contributions to the field of education. Maryah's career goals go deeper than educator, as she is driven by a desire to educate children and adults toward developing awareness and understanding of their relationship with plants. At Bank Street, students practice what is referred to as the developmental interaction approach, human development and the interaction between thought and emotion, as well as the interaction between learners and their environment. Maryah's practice as plant doctor reflects this model. Maryah is aware of the development of her clients, what they can handle regarding plant care, and gathers more information about place, space, and lighting while recognizing the importance of the social, emotional possibilities of living things. Maryah brings her knowledge about teaching and learning into her business. These gifts have moved with her into her plant practice, supporting developing plant owners. Her approach to individuals reflects this knowledge of knowing who a person is and what they need. Her support regarding plant owners moves in this same vein. The interactive aspect of this learning model is a strength of Maryah's in and beyond the classroom. Relationship building comes with awareness of the individual. Maryah understands the complexities of one's relationship with their plant. She knows and teaches that patience and positivity impact the experience of caring for it. Maryah knows that working with people and their plants can leave a lasting impact on a life, regardless of how small or large. Congratulations, Maryah. It is an honor to recognize your thinking, planning, involvement, and passion this evening. Please come up to accept your BSCAA Recent Graduate Award.
Thank you, Misha. So I don't really have a speech now because it's so funny how similar our speeches were. So I'm going to synthesize what was just heard. But when Eric asked all of the Alumni Award recipients to answer the 3 questions that you mentioned previously, I thought that I would share how Bank Street has impacted my work, what this award means to me, and all the people I'd like to thank. And so I feel that the best way to do this is by discussing the commonly used term at Bank Street that has played an important role in my life since attending, and that term is the developmental interaction approach. The developmental interaction approach, as we just heard, was created by Nancy Nager and Edna Shapiro, and it is known as the Bank Street approach. It is defined as a holistic, active, and experiential learning tailored to each child's developmental stage and individual differences. It takes into account social interaction, emotional well-being, and personalized growth, all within a supportive environment. Simply put, to me, the approach has always meant meeting children where they are and embracing everything that comes with them. And the reason I wanted to share this was for 2 reasons, because it's played such a large role in my time at Bank Street and afterwards. But more importantly, it's a really long and impressive term with multiple syllables that justifies the cost of a master's degree to my family. So in true Bank Street fashion, if you don't mind humoring me for about 30 seconds, I'd like to explain this with an example. Imagine that all of us in this room are in 3rd grade. At a very basic level, I'd imagine that we have one shared goal, and that's to make it to 4th grade. However, the supports, resources, and considerations needed for each of us to get there will look very different. While we'll likely all be taking the same tests, doing the same activities and worksheets, it'll become pretty clear on the first day of school that we'll all need different supports in order to be successful. And it's this exact understanding and approach that I've taken outside of the classroom and into the world. Sometimes life's tests are hard. Sometimes the worksheets are way too easy. And sometimes I need a bit more support than the person next to me. But one thing has stayed consistent from my time in 3rd grade to present day, and that is when things get tough, I can always look forward to a little bit of recess and a small lunch. I have so many people to thank during my time at Bank Street, including my family who's here and friends who have helped me along the way. And I would be extremely remiss without acknowledging a very special thank you to my advisor and now friend, Molly Welsh-Kruger. Great. Without her support, I can honestly say I don't think I would have graduated, so thank you. Okay, and lastly, speaking of graduation, I actually didn't get to make it there because in 2020 we had a pandemic. And so if you don't mind, I've been looking forward to this moment for so long.
Thank you.
Good evening. You guys can do a little bit better than that. Good evening. There you go. Hello, my name is Amber Cartwright, and I serve as representative at large on the BSCAA Advisory Board. It is my honor to present the BSCAA Recent Graduate Award to Luisa Celado. This award is presented to a graduate within the last 5 years for outstanding contributions to the field of education. Luisa has consistently demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the well-being and development of our youngest learners. Her dedication to creating a nurturing and stimulating learning environment has had a profound impact on the lives of children she teaches. Several aspects of Luisa's teaching stand out. She consistently employs innovative and effective teaching methods and engages and captivates young minds. Her ability to create hands-on experiential learning opportunities has made a lasting impression on both students and fellow educators. She has worked tirelessly with her fellow teachers to turn an empty classroom into a block room for 3- and 4-year-olds. She recognizes through block play, a child's imagination can soar as they explore ideas and discover the possibilities of early childhood materials. Luisa has also committed to professional development. She actively seeks opportunities to stay abreast to the latest research and best practices in early childhood education. Her commitment to continuous learning not only benefits her personally, but enriches the lives and the entire teaching community. Luisa is passionate about creating an inclusive and supportive environment, not only for her students, but her students in other districts, or these students in other districts, I beg your pardon. Her dedication to foster a sense of belonging for every child has resulted in positive and nurturing atmospheres conducive to learning. Luisa is a remarkable early childhood teacher and is recognized for her outstanding contributions to the Learning Through Play 3K and Pre-K Center in the Bronx and through the entire early childhood field. It is with great pleasure and admiration that I present the BSCAA Recent Graduate Award to Luisa Celado. Please.
Good evening, everyone. It feels great to be here in a place like where everywhere I look, I see people that really motivate me to continue doing what I do. And I love it. It has been quite a journey to be standing here tonight in front of you. I found myself humble and inspired by the community I serve, the South Bronx. A community where Blacks and Latinos have been underserved for over decades, and where I am fully committed to meeting the needs of children and families. A community where children have dreams and adults have hopes. One way I support children is through the magic of block play. The block room provides a rich environment where children can use blocks as a tool for self-expression, learning, and growth. In the block room, children share amazing stories, like Josielis, who built a house for people can get free food. And I remember I asked Josieli, why there are so many people lining up? And she said, Miss Celado, when I'm not in school, me and my abuela wake up early in the morning to go and line up. in the house next to the church to get food. And sometimes we have to go because it's too cold and the line is too long. This is sad, but that's reality. On the other hand, we have Fatima, who built a water park, 2 blocks. And she said, Miss Celado, I'm building a water park with blocks now, but when I grow up, I'm coming back and I'm gonna build it for real, for real, for real. And it's gonna be free for everyone. I love her determination, and I can't wait to see my future architect coming back to our community. Accepting this award, it's a great deal to me. These awards recognize my contribution, dedication, and passion for shaping young children, sorry. Thank you to the Bank Street Alumni Association for this recognition. Thank you, Bank Street College, for reaching out to our Bronx community-based organization and creating programs like the Early Childhood Urban Education Initiative that allowed me to be part of the Bank Street community. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Michelle, who chose the right professors who shaped me, who helped me shape my educational journey. To the children, you are my mentors. You are my motivators. You are the greatest teachers and my reason for believing in the power of education to change life. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn through play with you. To my former principal of St. Leda, I am deeply grateful for your guidance and encouragement. To my principal, Miss Rains, your leadership style, compassion, and vision has been a source of inspiration to me. I consider myself lucky to work under your administration in our block room. To my sister in the field, Luisa, I am filled with gratitude to work with someone as sexy as you. Thank you for making me part of the block committee. I love you. Now, I would like to share one of my favorite quotes from Rita Pearson, and it says, every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understand the powers of connection and insist they become the best they can possibly be. But guess what? Not only children have champions, grown-ups also have champions. And mine is the one and only Ursula Davis. Ursula, I am truly fortunate to have the opportunity to learn from someone as knowledgeable and compassionate, as dedicated as you. Your mentorship has made a lasting impact on me, and I will carry the lesson I have learned from you with me always. Thank you once again for your support and for believing in my potential. To my family, friends, and colleagues, thank you for your support, for being there for me when I needed it. I love you all. Have a good night.
Good evening. My name is Dana Wheeler, and I serve as a representative at large on the BSCAA Advisory Board. Today, I am presenting the BSCAA Recognition Award, which is presented annually to one or more Bank Street graduates honoring outstanding career accomplishments. That's better. In the they're new. Okay. Outstanding career accomplishments in the field of education, which exemplify the spirit and philosophy of Bank Street College. Dr. Ginet remarkably represents both Bank Street's mission and credo in her work, supporting educators' pedagogical content knowledge of math. She and her colleagues at the Early Math Collaborative exemplify Bank Street's traditions of translating research into developmentally meaningful and humane pedagogy as a component of social transformation. Lisa's work centers on the well-known issue of math phobia among early childhood educators. Given these fears and all of the evidence of early educators' potential long-term effects on children's life trajectory, plus documented disparities, Lisa and her team have long recognized that improving early math instruction is a social justice issue. Her approach focuses first and foremost on educators' developmental history with math, such as their own experiences in the discipline and how they are taught, in order to reconstruct their mathematical knowledge, reasoning, and identities. This is done in keeping with constructivist traditions at Bank Street through hands-on activities that bring abstract concepts to life, so that these insights and activities can be translated into participating teachers' classrooms right away. Dr. Lisa Ginet is a teacher's teacher, skilled in translating complex concepts, and tonight the Bank Street Alumni Association is proud to present her the Recognition Award. Congratulations.
I've got the phone too. I want to thank the BSCAA committee for choosing me for this award, and also Mark Nagasawa, who is currently Bank Street faculty, but previously was Erickson faculty, for nominating me. I'm really more moved than I expected. I'm grateful to here, that would help. Thanks. I'm grateful to all of my teachers, students, and co-learners throughout my life. My year at Bank Street, which was many years ago, as you can see, was a time of intense reflection and rehearsal. 37 years ago, I left here feeling ready to be a classroom teacher. I got a job at a progressive public school in Acton, Massachusetts, and I imagined that I would work there for 3 or 4 decades. As you can see from my bio, my professional life has had many twists and turns, and working directly with children in schools has not always been the focus. However, the ideas, skills, and habits of mind that Bank Street helped me to develop and define have been key to all of my roles, both professional and personal, as I have always needed to plan and prepare for the unpredictable needs of active learners in community. I have focused on these three principles and ways of being. I try to be curious and connecting by wondering how things, people, ideas work, by noticing similarities and differences so that I can forge bonds among people and concepts, and by discovering structures and creating systems that work fairly. Also, I try to be compassionate and courageous by treasuring others and myself as humans who can contribute, by fighting for everyone's opportunity to learn and grow. Last, but certainly not least, I try to cooperate and collaborate by supporting all the people that I work with, whatever their roles, to have both voice and agency so that we can do more together. I expect to continue to apply these core values as I move into the next stage of my learning journey as a grandparent, a substitute teacher, and an advocate. And listening to the stories this evening, I kind of wish I had 40 more years, like Hal said, to do it again. Thank you.
Good evening. We are at our final recipient this evening, and it has been such a full evening. I stay connected to Bank Street because it keeps me inspired. Our alum are amazing, and I'm truly inspired by the stories this evening, and I feel like I can go into Monday with some hope and joy and focus. So my name is Erica Davis. I am a 2011 alum of the Principals Institute, and I am the vice president of the Bank Street Alumni Association. It is my honor to present the BSCAA Recognition Award, which is presented annually to one or more Bank Street graduates, honoring outstanding career accomplishments in the field of education, which exemplify the spirit and philosophy of Bank Street College. Dr. Asya Johnson embodies Bank Street's mission to improve the education of children and their teachers through her exemplary leadership as principal of Longwood Preparatory Academy in the South Bronx. The South Bronx is pretty lucky because they have two amazing educators. Implementing culturally responsive pedagogical practices since 2018, Dr. Johnson has created a school community centered on applying to the education process all available knowledge about learning and growth, specifically for her students of color. Using Zaretta Hammond's culturally responsive teaching and the brain's Ready for Rigor framework, Dr. Johnson led Longwood's journey through racial affinity groups for students and staff. This resulted in faculty developing racial equity commitments and a culturally responsive school culture that led to the school's removal from the state's persistently struggling schools list, now earning good standing status. Dr. Johnson connects teaching and learning meaningfully to the outside world by cultivating partnerships with colleges and universities to bring more dual enrollment offerings targeting underserved South Bronx youth. In just 5 years, college prep enrollment rose from 12% to 92% under her leadership. In improving educational outcomes for marginalized students by applying research on identity, culture, and developmental psychology while building students' connection to college and career,
Dr. Asia Johnson represents the best of Bank Street's mission and credo in action. She has created a culture of high expectations and continuous growth at Longwood Preparatory Academy to mirror the world she wishes to see, making her an exceptionally deserving of the BSCAA Recognition Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Asia Johnson.
Even with heels on, I'm sure. Good evening, everyone. I am deeply honored to receive the Alumni Recognition Award from Bank Street College of Education. This award holds immense significance to me, not only as a testament of my personal journey in the field of education, but also as a recognition of the values and principles that guide my work every day. At the heart of my professional philosophy is the belief that meaningful relationships are the cornerstone of effective learning. Bank Street's progressive leadership has profoundly impacted my approach, emphasizing the importance of intentional communities where every individual feels valued and understood. This ethos is not just a theory, but a lived practice in our classrooms and our educational spaces. It is through these genuine connections that we can truly support holistic development of our students. Bank Street's deep understanding of individual development, grounded in a robust evidence, has been instrumental in shaping my educational leadership practices as a progressive Black woman. Recognizing that each learner is unique, the distinct needs and strengths has allowed me to create educational experiences that are both culturally responsive and empowering. This individualized approach ensures that all learners, regardless of age, can thrive and reach their fullest potential. A commitment to social justice, access, and equity is another core principle that aligns with my work. In today's educational landscape, it is imperative that we build upon the strengths in individuals while advocating for systemic changes that ensures equal opportunity for all learners. This dedication to equity is not only a professional mandate, but a personal passion, driving my efforts to create inclusive and supportive learning environments. Moreover, Bank Street's emphasis on advocacy, action, and fostering a democratic principles has inspired me to be a proactive leader in my community. By modeling these principles, we can encourage our students to become active, engaged citizens who are committed to making positive impact on the world. The need for more leaders of color in education cannot be overstated. According to the Educational Trust, only 20% of educators nationwide are people of color. Yet more than half of students in public schools are Black and brown. This disparity highlights a critical gap that we must address. Diverse leadership in education is essential, not only for providing role models for students, but also for bringing varied perspectives that enrich learning experiences for everyone. Before I go, I want to first thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, whose guidance and strength has been my constant source of inspiration. I also want to thank my family, my friends, and my colleagues for their unwavering support and encouragement. Finally, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to Bank Street's College of Education for this prestigious honor. The recognition of my career accomplishment, which aligns with the spirit and philosophy of Bank Street, is a humbling experience. And this award reaffirms my commitment to progressive education and the values that Bank Street embodies. As we move forward, let us continue to champion meaningful relationships, individual development, equity, and social justice in our educational endeavors. Together, we can create a more inclusive, equitable, and just education system for all learners. Thank you. What a night. I wish there were more, right? Let's have some conversation in just a minute and see if there are nominations for next year amongst us. Thank you for coming. Thank you to all of you. It's so beautiful to get to meet you up at the podium. And thank you, Bank Street, for bringing this opportunity for this event and the weekend to fruition. And now we have refreshments in the lobby, and we'd love to just be able to join you and come together as the Bank Street community. Thank you. Have a good night.